Welcome back. Today we're diving into one of the most controversial chapters of Nietzsche's Thus Spoke Zarathustra, titled Old and Young Women.
That sounds like a topic that's bound to stir up some debate. I'm very curious to see what Nietzsche has to say here.
The chapter is framed as Zarathustra carrying a little truth that he was given, something he describes as a naughty child he has to keep quiet.
A naughty child? That's a strange metaphor. Does he mean the truth is difficult, uncomfortable, and likely to cause a scene if spoken aloud?
That's exactly it. And this truth comes from an encounter he had with an old woman who challenged him on his silence about women.
What did she say to him? How did she get him to speak on such a sensitive subject that he was clearly avoiding?
She noted he'd spoken to women, but never about woman. He initially deflected, but she cleverly said, "Talk to me. I'm old enough to forget it."
That's a brilliant way to get him to open up. So what was the first big idea he shared with her after she convinced him?
He starts with a bombshell. Everything in woman is a riddle, and everything in women hath one solution. It is called pregnancy.
Wow, straight to the point. He's basically saying a woman's entire purpose and identity are fundamentally tied to her biological capacity for childbirth.
Yes, and from there he claims that for a woman, a man is simply a means to an end, with that end always being the child.
So, in this view, the man is a tool for procreation. What about the reverse? What does he say a woman is for a man?
He argues that the true man desires two things in life, danger and diversion. Therefore, he sees woman as the most dangerous plaything.
A dangerous plaything is a very provocative phrase. It suggests she is for his recreation, but also that she should be a challenge, not something simple.
Exactly. He expands on this by stating that man should be trained for war and woman for the recreation of the warrior, calling everything else folly.
So man's purpose is struggle and conquering, and woman's purpose is to provide a place of rest and engaging diversion for him after his battles.
Right. He even says the warrior dislikes too sweet fruits, which is why he likes woman, because bitter is even the sweetest woman.
That metaphor implies that her complexity, her difficulty, and her bitterness are precisely what makes her valuable and appealing to this ideal Van.
He then makes a fascinating distinction about childhood, saying that woman understands children better, but man is actually more childish than woman.
How does he define childish here? It doesn't sound like he means it as an insult, like being immature or silly.
No, he means it in the sense of playfulness. He says there's a hidden child inside every true man that wants to play, and it's woman's job to find it.
So she is a mother to his offspring, but also a playmate for his own inner, creative child. The roles he lays out are very specific.
And they are all in service of a higher goal. He says a woman's greatest hope should be to bear the Superman, the Übermensch.
So her ultimate existential purpose in his view is to literally give birth to a higher form of humanity. That is an immense responsibility.
It is. He also defines a woman's honor in a very peculiar way, to always love more than you are loved, and to never be the second.
That seems contradictory. To give more sounds like a secondary position, but he says never be the second. How do those ideas fit together?
The interpretation is that she should be first and foremost in her own domain of giving love, never a mere accessory, even if it's not equally returned.
I see. It's about being primary in her specific role. What about the darker emotions he discusses, like fear and hate?
He claims a man should fear a woman both when she loves and when she hates, because her love leads to total sacrifice, and her hate is mean.
He distinguishes man's soul as evil, but a woman's as mean. Is he suggesting man's wrongdoing is grand, while woman's is petty and personal?
That's the implication. It's a very harsh judgment. He uses a metaphor of a magnet that attracts iron, but is too weak to pull it close.
Symbolizing a frustrating dynamic of attraction without satisfaction, which he says is what woman hates most.
This is getting very bleak. It culminates in this statement. The happiness of man is I will. The happiness of woman is he will. It's about assertion versus obedience.
So, after laying all of this out, what was the old woman's reaction? Does she just accept this intense and frankly misogynistic-sounding philosophy?
Not at all. She's quite enigmatic. She says he knows little about women, yet is somehow right, perhaps because with women, nothing is impossible.
That's a very ambiguous response. It's hard to tell if she's being sincere, sarcastic, or just acknowledging the complexity of the issue.
And then, as thanks, she offers him her own little truth to take with her, warning him to keep it quiet or it will scream too loudly.
This must be the big finale. What is the piece of wisdom that she gives to him that is so scandalous?
She looks at him and says, "Thou goest to women, do not forget thy whip."
Wow, that line is incredibly shocking and famous for a reason. What on earth are we supposed to think that means?
It's deliberately provocative. A key detail is that this advice comes from the old woman, not from Zarathustra himself, which complicates everything.
So it might be her cynical, worldly advice, not Nietzsche's prescription? Or perhaps the whip is a metaphor for something like discipline or maintaining tension.
Exactly. It could be about not letting relationships get too comfortable or sentimental. The ambiguity is the entire point, forcing us to grapple with it.